us is in a couple of different ways. In one way, that's one of the main communication tools that we have as a district to put out, information as well. Anytime we have public notices, public bids, anytime that we are able to post our minutes from our meetings. The other piece of that is there's actually statutory language that the legislature has in place in terms of our reporting requirements, what we have to report, when we have to report it, how it's reported. One of those pieces is the legal newspaper. So every January at our organizational meeting, we always choose a newspaper. We always have chosen the JI. We've talked about, that I think a few different ways and times. With us not having a local newspaper, then we have to fall on statute. Districts must publish in any paper that has 400 readers in the school district. If there's no newspaper with 400 readers within the district boundary, districts may choose a neighboring weekly, shopper, or larger news publication. So Elise on Friday, on her day off, she never uses vacation days, but on that day, spent a lot of the day interacting with the circulation desks of surrounding newspapers. Thank you for that, really appreciate it. And so we had to take a look at that data. We really don't have anybody that has the threshold of 400 around us. The New Prague Times shopper is probably the most with 1,500, but that publication actually does not accept public notices. So that doesn't meet our statutory requirement. Also, I know Chair Polly probably can add to this and will add to this. She's had some interactions as well with some of the surrounding paper editors. My initial thought, I think I shared with all of you, was that, the Henderson Independent would have made just a great, plan B for us, because they already report so much on local Jordan happenings. They're wonderful with our activities. They report a ton on our activities. So that seems like a natural fit. There may be some other considerations with that as we move forward. And I know Deb will share more. One of the things I'm thinking we may have to do is name a paper until we learn more information. We may have to revisit this in May or June again. Also, I know legislatively this is a conversation, and it's impactful to us, the city, the county, the townships. Right now, everybody in this whole southwest region, plus there are other papers folding around the state. I think I heard Hutchinson too. Mm-hmm. So everybody's kind of scrambling. So there is a momentum right now for emergency legislative language or some kind of change with that, because this is not necessarily possible for districts or cities or counties. So Deb, I don't know if you want to add anything.
Sure. Yeah, I don't even know where to start. So one of the issues is Rachel with the Henderson paper used to be the editor in Jordan, and she has done a very good job. Yeah. Like Superintendent Evenson said, of covering things. She did a phenomenal job with the wrestling tournament and stuff. But she's in a predicament because all these publications that are closing, to and including the Hutchinson and whatever other paper, I can't remember, Glencoe maybe, they're with Crow River Printing Press. The printing press where they actually print is closing. Our papers, Southwest, print out of Northfield, and rumor is that that's closing. Is that what you've heard too? I don't know for sure. Yeah, I've heard that that is closing too, and that's part of the impetus behind why these newspapers are all folding, is because the place where they actually print them is closing. So, this impacts a lot of things. We have an election coming up, so we have to, by law, we have to, post the ballots or, print the ballots and do all the postings. Yeah. Anytime we go out for bids, of course, all our minutes and our legal notices by law have to be printed within a certain amount of time. Anytime we would do anything involving any kind of public notices. So it's not only school districts, everybody, to be honest with you, is really scrambling. And I've been in touch with the lobbyist for MSBA. I met with her, we had dinner Saturday night, and then I was on the phone with her a good part of the morning today, telling her that to encourage the lobbyists to try to get the legislature to do some kind of emergency permission for us to publish it on websites and stuff. So highly doubt that will go anywhere, because the second there's any kind of indication, which that has been something that they have been working on for years with the legislature, was trying to allow school districts and public entities to publish on their websites. It would be cost savings for us. The second that's brought up, the newspaper industry is at the Capitol lobbying full force, and it just goes nowhere. I think if it's gonna ever happen, this would be the most opportune time for that to happen. But having said that, who knows? I don't know where that'll go. It is a big deal, you know, and
So-
it's,
I have a question.
yeah,
So we have to pick a newspaper and we have to pay them to print it in paper. And they
Mhm.
can't just post it, like if they have an electronic site, they can't
Nope.
post it like on their electronic, like Star Tribune. Like it has to be in the actual physical paper.
And
No.
actually, just, I want to intercept, the Henderson one actually does not have a digital footprint. So if we were to choose Henderson, they do not have a digital footprint.
we couldn't by law do that anyway. It has to be in a printed publication.
Yeah.
And, you know, one of the options, probably legally, the Star Tribune is probably the way we should lead, but their rates are outrageous. They
But-
would bankrupt school districts.
But really, I mean, it's two decision points that we have, right?
It's-
So
pardon?
it's two decision points that we have. So we already know that whatever paper that we go with, there will not be any Jordan subscribership.
Very few.
Because there's none that meet the 400 reader threshold. So
Henderson has 13.
So all we're working on is a technicality.
Yep.
And so essentially, the two decisions that we have to make, because we review this every year,
Yep.
is to some degree of confidence, what newspaper is gonna be open for the next year, and then who's the cheapest? And then that's the one we go with. Because we're fulfilling the technicality. So to your point, Star Tribune, we know it's gonna be around,
Yeah.
but it's probably too expensive.
Yeah.
If we feel that Henderson is gonna be around for the next year, and again, we don't even need to like forecast even beyond that, but if they're gonna keep the lights on for another year, and they have reasonable costs, that's our answer.
Well, I've been in touch with Rachel also. She's scrambling because the printing company that she uses is folding. So she doesn't know where she's gonna, she said, Deb, I have 2 weeks to figure out where I'm gonna get my newspaper printed.
Well,
Yeah.
here's a thought.
Why can't they print it on regular paper? Or
Pardon?
does it have to be on like newspaper paper?
Yes.
Well,
You know what I mean? Like,
they couldn't afford to, you mean,
yeah, like just regular white paper.
Here's a thought. What if, what if as a board, you were to just, let's say you pick Henderson. And we can put on our website that, we have switched to, this is our official paper, so that our public knows, or people know, we can write up something, so people know where to look, or where to subscribe, or whatever. And then if something changes in May with the Henderson paper, we put it on the agenda again and pick the next one.
100%.
Is that okay? Like, is that something you'd be willing, as a board to do? I feel like we need a decision tonight, because there will be things we have to post in May, and JI does not exist in May.
Yeah, and for all practical purposes, we will also, I'm assuming, for all of those important announcements, they will be on our website as well.
Absolutely.
So that is where the vast majority of people are gonna consume the information. This is just
Yeah.
that we are adhering to the state statute that probably should have been changed 10 years ago, but it hasn't.
so I would like the motion to, if we do go with Henderson, to say Henderson, but then to have the caveat that if there's a legislative change or something, we would obviously follow,
It would
the new
authorize
legislation.
us the flexibility to make the
Yes.
change.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Corinne, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, I'm trying not to sneeze. What about Southwest News Media? Did we look into them?
That's who publishes all of these.
Oh,
That's who's
it is?
folding. Yeah.
That's-
It's
It's-
everybody?
It's
Everybody.
Prior Lake, Shakopee,
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Chanhassen, Prior, us, there's 7 of them, plus that weekly free thing you get on Saturdays that has
Yeah.
all the ads in, that's going away.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
like my
that's
tenants
okay.
at the Schul House are panicking that they won't have the
Yeah.
Jordan Independent coupon.
Yeah, I should have been more
Or the-
clear.
I
It's
mean,
bigger
the
than the JI.
Rodham
It's the
markers.
whole media outlet. Yeah, I apologize. Yeah.
Do we have a list of like our options and how much it will cost? Did I
No,
miss
there
that?
is
We're
not.
not there yet,
There's,
no.
no.
Oh.
What we did was, take a look at, it's a good question. We really just looked at what makes sense. What is not going to break the bank, but also where would our people be likely? Because there are not many newspapers around us.
Right.
And so that's where we ran the numbers. Nobody met the threshold or criteria. The one we weren't sure about was the Star Tribune, because if we had hit a certain number, the decision would be made for us. And that was very concerning because of cost, for our district. And so, you know, for us really, like I mentioned earlier, the shopper with the New Prague paper, they do not accept, these. So really, at this point, my recommendation would be the Henderson Independent, only because they already are covering some Jordan news, and they've done an excellent job with their activities. And if something changes with them, then of course we would change. But I think also our families wouldn't be super surprised if that was the selection for right now, because many do know that they report on Jordan activities.
Would that cost be similar to what we were paying like the JI? Do you know?
I can only assume, I don't know, Elise, if you know Elise knows.
Yeah,
What can I
okay.
ask you to?
I don't know the exact rate, but it's very similar to what
Okay.
we're paying now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's helpful. It's hard
Yeah.
to make a decision without knowing the financial
Yeah.
impact of it. So,
Yep, you're right. My apologies.
yeah.
Lauren?
Do you need a motion?
Yes.
We can, and, yeah,
we need-
yeah,
okay,
let's go
then-
with the motion.
I just wasn't sure because usually we kind of try to have
Well, are we
discussion,
ready
do the
for a motion, though?
Or
I
we
don't
still
know that
wanna
we're ready for a
discuss,
motion.
Yeah.
But don't you usually do the motion, then the discussion, and then the vote?
Yeah.
Well, we do accept that,
We don't know if the end of, okay. My question was, the Henderson paper, I think is a great idea, but did we say it has to have the 400?
No, the
Okay.
400 is in relation to what you're required to do. So if there would be a paper in our vicinity that had at least 400 subscribers, that decision's made. That's the one we have to go with.
Gotcha, okay, that's where my disconnect was.
Yep.
Okay, that was my question.
Yep, good one.
I like the,
Is
I
there
I
anything
like
in
the
Carver,
Henderson.
or is that Southwest as well?
All
that's
like,
Chaska Herald.
yep.
Chaska Herald's out.
There
too,
are
yeah.
none. There
We brought
literally are
forward
none.
everything that's available.
New
Sure.
Prague has one, but to be honest with you, if these printing presses are all shutting down, I'm sure that New Prague probably goes to Northfield too.
Yeah. It's not really a cost-effective business model anymore. I mean, so I mean, it's not a surprise, but
Yeah.
if we have legal requirements, that's separate, so.
That's where the legislature needs to, and we've been, like I said, begging to let us
Well,
put it on our websites
And we're
for
in
years.
a far better position than some of the cities.
Yeah,
Henderson is interesting because it looks like it's a combined Henderson and Belle Plaine, even though Belle Plaine is an E-edition. So there's logic in the community.
Yeah,
if we-
when they,
if we
yeah,
talked
when
about
Belle
that.
Plaine folded, they combined with the Henderson paper.
And that's why we get a lot of press for activities as well,
Yep.
because of
Scott West
our
and-
Scott West and soccer
Yeah.
and all of that, yep.
That is logical.
Yeah, I think, I mean, even if it's 6 months, I mean, it seems like it's a super reasonable bridge strategy until we come up with something more permanent.
Or even if
Thank you.
in 2 weeks, right? I mean,
Well,
if
and
something
if they
happens in the
fold-
next
if
couple of
she has-
weeks, then
yeah.
this is on the agenda again
Right.
in
Yes,
May.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
of
but
course.
then if they fold, then we'll figure out kind
Yeah.
of what's the next kind of contiguous option.
I mean,
Until-
because,
Until hopefully the state
Yeah.
basically comes around and says, yeah, this isn't sustainable.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't predict the future, obviously, and we're not the only school district having this discussion
No.
right now.
everyone
So
is in that.
honestly, I would like, you know, just to put it, to put it plainly, I'd like it to be a logical, like, simple thing that gives flexibility if we need it. I hope we don't, but if we do, that would make a lot of sense. And our practice is always to keep you informed of everything. So if that should happen, you'd be the first to know. And then we deal with it. We put it on the next agenda.
Okay, so do we need a motion then?
Sure, if somebody can figure out how they want to word it.
So I move to update our selected newspaper to the Henderson
Independent.
Independent, is that what it's called? As of today, I don't know, do it,
And
I think you need a little
And-
more.
Yeah, and
Provide
And provide publications.
flexibility.
And flexibility.
If they should close,
Oh,
you need to
and
provide.
flexibility to adjust if needed in
Yeah.
the future. Okay, does that work?
did you get that, Carolyn?
I'll listen to the recording.
Sorry, I know that was butchered.
Okay,
thought it
so
was
we have a
simple.
motion to switch our legal newspaper from the Jordan Independent because they're closing to the Henderson Independent with the
Flexibility.
flexibility that depending on what the legislature does or what happens with with the Henderson paper itself, we have the flexibility to relook at this at a
Future meeting.
future meeting. That was Jenny's.
That was my
That's
second
a long
summary of
motion.
my emotion,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is there a second?
Good
I'll
job, Jen.
second.
Okay, okay, Sarah.
I mean, couldn't we just do that at any time, though?
Huh?
Yeah, I
Can't we,
mean-
like, if legislation does change, can't we just amend our?
I think the
Well, then-
flexibility, yes, but I think the flexibility comes in. So let's say the legislature is like, actually, you can do things online. Then we want to do that as soon as possible to
Yes.
get information to our community. And I don't want to have a board meeting to be able to post on our website if we need to. So it
I
just,
gotcha.
it's cleaner.
That makes sense, okay.
Yeah.
But I can tell you the way the legislature moves, don't bank on it.
I
Maybe
know.
next year, right?
They're
It's a
just the
conundrum.
cog in the wheel.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's a-
seriously, they are a cog in the wheel.
Yeah, it's, yeah.
Too
In a
much
lot of ways,
government.
it's sad. I mean, like, look at the number of people that are gonna be out of jobs as a result of this. And, yeah,
Okay, remind me again with New Prague though, they just don't have, you can't pay for content. Is that what the issue with New Prague was?
New Prague has a weekly paper like ours was,
Yeah.
which
Uh-huh.
is still there. I mean, that's still an option, but they also do a weekly flyer, kind of like that Saturday thing we get.
Yeah.
And that is not a legal paper. They cannot run
They
legal
won't accept
notices in
public.
there.
Notices.
And that's where we would post, is what you're saying, right? The thing,
That
the
has the
publication on
most-
Saturday?
That has the most viewership,
Okay.
but we cannot use them because they do not accept public notices.
So really what I'm hearing is Henderson is the option.
Yep.
I mean, in reality.
Yeah.
So you're saying there is a new Preg option, potentially?
It wouldn't be
Not
my
the shopper, it's the
recommendation.
other one?
It wouldn't be our recommendation even through our communications because the logical piece with our pairings, with the coverage for the community is Henderson. New Prague would be our second choice.
As a technicality, because very few people are consuming information via paper for subscribership. People view it online.
Yeah.
So people are gonna come to Jordan,
Yeah.
and they're gonna get all of this information practically, but per legal requirement, we have to have a paper printing. That one is probably the closest and the cheapest. So we're basically kind of switching from what we're paying to the Jordan Independent to the Henderson people. So we're not paying extra. That was unanticipated, like if we had to go to the Star Tribune. But, and we're checking the box so that we're staying in compliance.
What is the fee for the newspaper? Does anyone know?
I think the subscription was like, was it $60 a year? I
Oh,
think?
no, what we pay to
Oh,
place,
Yeah.
I have no
At least
idea.
no idea?
It's a rate per, column inch.
Per column inch. I used to work for the
Okay.
newspaper.
So, it's probably around $10 or $11 per column inch. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Which is
Get
not
in
an
my-
actual inch, it's a column inch,
Okay,
which is a column by an inch.
sure.
Yep.
That
But we-
seems cheap. I feel like the obits are like $80 or something for that amount.
But you said the cost is similar, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe that's the Star Tribune.
Okay, further discussion? We have a motion and a second on the floor. Okay,
No, but sounds like we have a backup if we need it.
hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, thanks for all your background work and research on this,
Yeah.
Louise. To be continued. Okay, on to superintendent's report. Superintendent Evenson.
All right, Chair Polly, members of the board, before I start my report, there's a couple of things I just want to note. I want to acknowledge and say thank you to Kyle Johnson with his notice of retirement. We will do something, if he agrees, they have to agree to it, in May for that. But I had the privilege of teaching with Kyle my first year here in Jordan. We were teammates over at JES, and so I just wanted to just acknowledge that. And it's a big decision, and he'll be missed. I also wanted to thank Coach Urbanek. He's coached for us for absolutely years for boys basketball, and I know he made a big decision this week too, so I wanted to extend my gratitude. Sharing our story. Reminder, Celebrate Jordan is this weekend. I'm sure you saw in my weekly update, we need you guys to sign up as board members to work the table. There are some time slots in there. I think it's like 12:45 to 2, 2 to 3, and 3 to 4:15. We'd like at least 2 people at that table. Again, the event is Sunday, April 14th from 1 to 4 at the Cirque and the middle school. They have a ton of things that they're going to be doing that they've not done before. There will be a mascot hour from 2 to 3. They have a vehicle fair. We've not done that before, so come explore cars, trucks, UTVs, police cars, fire trucks, and more. They're going to have a kid zone providing games for kids of all ages, and then all kinds of giveaways. So it's an important piece for us too as a school district. So please go back to the weekly update, log in, sign up for a slot, and also Cullen and team could use help in other areas. Those are all on the same time slot sheet. Building projects update. As you've seen, the site work has really started. For phase 1, the exterior site work will continue through the duration of the project with the anticipated completion date of fall 2025. We are super excited. They are really moving along. I anticipate, unless the rain has delayed anything, this week they'll start working on footings and frost walls already for the additions. So they are really moving along. I anticipate if the project continues to move as it has, by the end of the school year, we'll have vertical walls over there already. So that's pretty exciting. Last week, I met with the full elementary staff to talk about packing and planning and what that's going to look like for them. We had consultants in there too to help, just talk to them about how things are going to work for them in those last days, because that's a huge undertaking. And we just want them to have all the support and information as early as possible so that they can kind of start. And it was amazing the same day. And we didn't even have the recycling bins or any of that there yet. They're like purging. So it was pretty nice. They're ready to pack. Roof replacement at the high school has started. I'm sure you can see all of that. Very excited about that. That project will be done by end of summer. And then also at the high school, the entrance project is slated for this summer too. So there is a lot happening. I want to just acknowledge our kids. I know Daniela, our student rep, was going to talk today about that. She was unable to join us. She let me know right before the meeting. But our kids are so excited. They absolutely love watching the earthwork happening, and it's been really fun. And the teachers have done a great job with that too. So that's my report. Any questions? Okay.
Okay. Any comments or questions on any of the other reports? I was pleasantly surprised, but sad that we have to do this, the vape detectors in the high school that they're partnering with. So we're the first school, I
Yep.
believe, in the state, I think.
Yeah, they're testing it out with us, so.
I think it's cool.
It was in
I
the
think you should get
high
medal
school
wands,
principal's
too.
report.
Vape detector.
The bathrooms.
I think even better is his story of testing it out I'll tell you sometime, made me laugh, just to see if they work. They work. I mean, he didn't vape, I want to be really clear. But he lit something on fire just to see, so.
Bring in like a diffuser.
Yeah.
Like with the mist or
Yes,
the
yes.
of it.
Yeah. Sad that we need that, but it's the
Yeah.
world we live in, I guess, so.
Yeah.
And then, the, you know, the Elevate program, the fact that the majority of those kids opt out of the testing, that is discouraging, because then that counts as a 0 against us, and it really brings our scores down. So I
There's-
presume that,
There's legislation to try and change it, I don't know
Yeah.
if it'll pass.
yeah. But I presume that Dr. Yamlin is really working with the students and with
Yeah,
the Elevate
she's-
leaders to
yeah.
try to encourage them to do it. That's a tough one, too.
Yep.
Okay, any other comments about any of the reports? Okay, then on to committee reports, budget we is all, calendar no, city school, we met today. Sarah, you wanna take the lead on that?
Sure. Had some really good discussion, gave, city update on building projects and what we have going on. They talked about, the new permits that are being pulled in, are coming in. They got about 14 this year so far. There's Beaumont Bluffs is on phase 4, on track for stage 4 for development there, so kind of on track for what they were thinking for development. Just gave some updates, kind of just exciting things happening in the community. Cinco de Mayo is back on at the Mini-Met this year. It's gonna be Friday, Prior Lake, Saturday here. We talked a lot about, again, they're in a similar situation with the JI going under, and they have other restrictions around there, so, yeah, but just a lot of good conversation, some, traffic updates, updates with the new construction, and things are on track for that, as we've talked about in the past. Anything else to add?
Yeah, just that Cinco de Mayo will be in the Mini-Met
Yep.
this year. It won't be
Yep.
in the street, so
Yep.
that'll be different. The ice cream shop supposedly is gonna open in May, in the old city hall. Let's see what else. And watch for a big announcement about the candy store. It's supposed to be hitting the papers. Oh, I think it actually
I don't know.
was hitting the, Henderson paper this week, so possibly the GI too. Yeah, other than that, yeah, it was a good meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah, we talked quite a bit about the newspaper issue, because it's, all public entities are dealing with that, so.
Yep.
Good, thank you.
Do you know if the I'm sorry, Ron. Do you know if the city is going to Henderson as well?
They have,
They haven't decided.
They haven't.
and they have different requirements.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
So that's, I mean, we were kind of sharing our requirements, and they just have different,
Yeah. Honestly, theirs are far more concerning than ours,
Mhm.
their requirements.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, they talked about possibly having to mail it out all the time. Can you imagine the costs involved
they
with
would have to
that?
mail out every
To every resident, every notice.
Every
every
notice?
notice.
EDA, planning commission, all of them.
I hope that doesn't
Oh, God.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, community ed and rec. Corinne or Lauren?
Let's see, we did not meet since our last meeting. I mean, the biggest thing is what Renee touched on, and Celebrate Jordan on Sunday. So it looks like we have a few more opportunities to sign up, just like welcome table. There's going to be Pop-A-Shot, which is like in the kids zone, I think, which is basketball, like shooting hoops kind of thing, just someone to oversee that the equipment doesn't get destroyed. If anyone wants to join me in the popcorn maker, that spot is open.
You know
Jenny-
what, I'm just gonna check my calendar, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be there the whole day. Just because I need to reengage, I need to come back. I need to come back to the community,
Well,
so.
I do want to put a plug in for the district table. Technically, that is the board's table. So it's crucial that two of us are at that table for each of the shifts. So I want you to make that your first priority. And then if we can, feed over and help with some of the other areas, great. I'm planning on being there all day too. So,
Okay, where's that sign-up sheet at?
in the weekly update.
Thank you.
I did sign Tony and I up for popcorn, like Corinne.
Yeah, I have to leave by 3, so
We're
Colin
very
is aware of that,
relieved.
but it looks like there are some people signed up for the table, so if we can get a board member there at the slots, but I did it last year at the board table, and we handed out pencils and apples and right next to the cookie table, so we were a good offset to the snacks.
And also, the displays for the building project are gonna be there, so I
Yeah.
think there'll be a lot of
We'll have lots of
a
things
lot
to
of
look at.
traffic and
Sweet.
a lot, probably a lot of questions about the
Yeah.
building.
Is it the district table
So-
or the welcome table?
District, it's further down towards the
Yeah.
bottom.
Yeah,
'Cause
district
that's,
table.
that's like, like, there's not extra spots, there's like.
There
it's
should be
full.
2.
It's
I
full,
haven't-
like,
I haven't
six.
signed up.
Oh,
Yeah.
people signed up, great, thank you.
yes, but the board, there isn't board members on it, it's just
Okay.
staff.
Admin
Well,
and-
Okay, we need to get
Admin.
board members on there though, so.
Can you
sign up.
throw me on there?
Yeah, I can add
can't-
you.
can throw anyone on there if it's full.
I think you, well, you can probably
Yeah.
make another row.
Just,
What-
yeah,
yeah.
it's okay if there's 3 at the table.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that big a deal. I just needed 2, and usually I'd be there the whole time. Last year I was up here because we had the public open house. I shared with Deb, I have to go to Fargo on Sunday morning, my nephew's baptism. So I am really sorry that I hate that I won't be here, but I need to be at my nephew's baptism, so.
I know
Yeah,
it's
somebody
yellow.
that's on facilities could maybe be on that table, that might be helpful, if there's gonna be some questions. And it looks like Dan signed up, so.
Yeah.
That's all I got. I mean, there's some equipment, I mean, Colin had put that in his update, that some of the new equipment was coming in. Those are the biggest things we've been talking about the last couple meetings.
Great, thank you. District advisory,
We meet next week.
facilities has not met, meet and confer, we have that, we're supposed to have that coming up, I think. But we haven't,
Maybe the 3rd week in
Oh,
April,
yeah, I think so.
usually?
Yep. So we haven't met negotiations, we kind of covered that already. Policy, we did meet a week and a half ago, and those policies we approved tonight. APAC, oh boy, we had our monthly meeting last Thursday, talked quite a bit about the agenda, planning the calendar for next year. They want to do field trip to Shakopee. Part of the APAC thing is they do things cooperatively with Belle Plaine and Shakopee. So in January, they want to host an all-day Native American event with Shakopee and Prayer Lake and invite Dan Needham here to do. He does indigenous games and indigenous foods. March and April, Belle Plaine would host. They talked about bringing in Native American languages into the high school, just the beginning stages of that conversation. May 1st is the banquet. There was a lot of discussion about that. So as you know, you're all invited to that. September 26th, they're doing a day at Mystic with Belle Plaine and Shakopee, with smudging rituals and keynote speakers and breakout sessions. So it was a good meeting. It was a very jam-packed meeting. Okay, Booster Club. Rob or Sarah?
Yeah, so we met last Wednesday. So, special shout out to all the coaches that are really engaging from a Booster Club perspective. So we had 2-3 requests, I think, come through. I'm looking at Elise. But I know that we were able to fund some stuff that baseball was looking for. We were able to fund some stuff from softball. I know that there's going to be some stuff coming up from volleyball perspective. We're going to be able to fully fund all the volunteer assistant coaches. So all of those things were super positive, and just good kind of momentum, and people are thinking of us to help again. Any opportunity to kind of elevate the program in terms of either experience or to get special equipment or what have you. So that's a super big positive. From a Booster Club and Education Foundation perspective, so all the numbers came in from the gala that we had earlier in February. So we were able to make $20,000 collectively for kind of a first go-around, which we were very excited about, plus all of the kind of fun synergies, which I personally really love because it's a collaboration between the district and everything that we're doing from a district perspective, but then what are those opportunities to enhance the classroom environment, which is all about the Education Foundation. What can we do to enhance extracurricular activities, which the booster supports? So there's just a lot of symmetry in my mind for that. So that was obviously kind of a success. So 10,000 kind of to each of those respective foundations. But the good news for us is that every single one of those dollars flows right back to the district. So it's benefiting all of the kids and hitting them kind of where they are in their interaction from that perspective. And then just a little bit of just kind of more kind of planning to kind of wrap up this school year and getting ready for next school year, and kind of getting organized in terms of just some of the things that we need to do to keep kind of the success going. Shout out for anyone who is listening, if they want to be a part of the Booster Club, whether formally as a board member or just a participant, would love to have kind of this new kind of crop of individuals. Just because we do have some people that have been a part of it for a very long time. They don't have kids in the district anymore. They just wanted to be participating, but they just have things that are going on kind of right now. So we're losing 3 or 4 people by kind of the June timeframe. So we need to replace those people plus add others. So, and that open invitation to all of you guys, if you guys want to join. Would love to have you, but also for anyone else in the community. And you don't have to directly have a kid in the district. It's just a matter of you want to support the district and some of the things that either organization is doing. So, but all good things.
Thank you.
They could, maybe when they have their activities meeting that our activities director has, that would maybe be a good place to talk to the parents to try to recruit.
Yeah, no, we
Yeah.
talked to John about that, and John's
Yeah.
been awesome about kind of promoting Booster Club. We've really encouraged the coaches to be able to get kind of within kind of those parents to
Sure.
kind of be able to do it that way. So, yeah, no, it's a great point, and just kind of continuing just to kind of get the message out there. Both Booster Club and Education Foundation, these are volunteer boards, so you're
Sure.
on the board, plus you're doing some of the work. We know everyone's volunteer, that's a part of it, but it is kind of an opportunity to kind of give back to the community a little bit. It's not a ton of time, and for a lot of the things that both organizations are doing, it's definitely team sport. So it could be a little bit overwhelming if only like 1 or 2 people are doing it, but if you've got 6 or 7, you can kind of spread the wealth a little bit, and taking all kinds of talent. So you don't have to feel like you can't bring anything to the table. If you have an interest, we'll find a role for you.
Gosh, we should have hit up the crowd tonight.
I know, we should have. But I did see a few of those, a few people that are participating in both, which is great.
Good, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, legislative, well, I don't know if you have been listening to their Friday morning legislative updates, but really good information there, lots going on. So, MSHSL, I can't think of anything. I have a Region 2AA meeting this week. The Superintendent Evenson and myself did attend the AAA Awards banquet. And that is for arts, academics, and athletics. 2 students from, a boy and a girl from each senior class can apply for it, and then those applications go on to the regions. There's, I don't know how many regions there are in the state, 16, I
Yeah,
think.
there's a bunch.
And each region goes through all of the schools in their region, and they chose 2 from that, 1 boy and 1 girl, and those go on to the state competition. So Michaela Haugen from our district was chosen, and so I'll pass this around. It was a great banquet, just, I'm telling you, it brings you to tears when you hear everything that these kids are doing. So it was
Incredible.
incredible. Okay, scale,
Meets this Friday.
Yeah, meets this Friday.
that's gonna be a good one, because I bet they're gonna be talking about the newspaper thing,
It's not on the agenda.
but I bet it
but
will
I bet
be.
it will be. Yeah.
SEAC, that's Molly, she's not here, Southwest Metro. I was not at the last meeting, but, they did settle the contract. We had a mediator that came in 2 days, and we were in mediation, and, we did come to an agreement, and their bargaining unit did vote in favor of the contract, so that's a good thing. So now we're moving on to the paras and the other unions, within Southwest Metro. I have a meeting next, I believe it's next Tuesday. So with that, we'll go around and do board reports. Sarah?
All right, I just want to say, remember the beginning of the school year, and we said we're going to be here, and we're going to be approving the graduation list before we know it. And next meeting, we will be approving the graduation list. This year has just absolutely flown by. Just want to give, an extra thanks and congratulations to all of our Jordan Pride Award recipients tonight. It was so awesome to see. I mean, it was filled. I was like, Deb, you have 21 minutes to sign all of it. Was, and it was so amazing knowing how many. But yeah, spring sports, as by the end of this week, they'll all be started, and we're wrapping it up.
It's crazy.
Next month is graduation. Next month, school, and we're full force.
Say, calm down. I'm not gonna do it. It's too predictable now.
It is, but it's true. I mean, it's crazy how fast now you live it. You're like, wow, we're here, and we kind of know. We get into the rhythm of, okay, this month we'll talk about this. This month we talk about this, and
Before you know it, it's over.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, and I would just, I mean, like you said, you're probably already figuring out staff breakfast for end of school, and you'll get that note out to us in the next couple weeks.
7:30 on the 28th.
Yep. Or right now.
Yeah.
Yes. So no, I'm just excited for wrapping up the school year, and I'm also super proud of our staff and our admin meeting, all the way back in February to figure out space for the summer. I mean, with everything that's going on at the high school, at the elementary school, to figure out the space in here and the components I know that a lot of effort went into that. So I just want to say thanks for that as well.
Lauren?
Well, that was a tough act to follow. She pretty much covered everything, so I'm gonna ditto everything that Sarah said. I'm happy to be back in Jordan, and we'll re-engage, and you're right, it is close to the end of the year, and I can't believe, I don't know, when you were a kid, the years took so long to go by, and now that you're an adult, you just want everything to slow down, and it doesn't slow down. And when you're a kid, all you want to do is hurry up and grow up. No, don't hurry up and grow up. Stay a kid and enjoy it, because life just gets more challenging and harder. So adulting is hard. It is. So, great job to the staff, for sure, for everything they've done for this year. And I'm looking forward to next year, even though we're going to have a lot of construction. And I know the elementary school is just going to knock it out of the park with the construction going on. So, hey, we got things moving and shaking here in Jordan.
Yeah, long days, fast weeks, for sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, I mean, from my perspective, just building on what you guys said, I think one of the things that, again, just to reemphasize, just the sense of kind of collaboration and teamwork to do some of the really cool things that we're doing as a district. This stuff it can be very hard if people aren't aligned, and I think it kind of comes back to just kind of the sense of purpose and being kind of part of this district. And a lot of people are here not just because it's a paycheck, but that they're truly believing that they're making a difference. And I think that's one of the really special things. And you can kind of see that with some of the planning at the elementary school. You can see that with the negotiations related to some of the contracts. Some of the continued push to, kind of do things a little bit differently, or try to kind of make things a little bit better than what they've been before. And I just, that's one of the really cool things about this district that I really appreciate and like. In terms of just, kind of some of the transition pieces as we're kind of getting ready for spring, kind of crazy in terms of just, with some of the, kind of attention on some of the classwork as they're getting ready for kind of finishing up some of the classes. It's crazy. So my kid had his first track event last week, and my other kid's got a first baseball game later this week, and so it's crazy how fast the year is going, but exciting to be outside, exciting for nice weather, and to be able to see, kind of what the next few weeks have in store for us.
Thanks, Rob. Corinne?
You guys, you covered a lot of stuff. I don't have anything crazy. We had our first fourth grade volleyball tournament on Saturday, and they won a match.
Yay!
We only played two, so we were 1-1. But, it was really fun, and to see these girls just get out there and start to understand the game and get in front of fans. They were very concerned of how many people were going to be there, and they had a ton of fans for fourth grade, so it was pretty cool. Again, just going back, Cirque on Celebrate Jordan on Sunday. Hope to see everybody there. My daughter had her last elementary concert, so that was fun. It was so good. Miss Ford puts on such a great program, so kudos to her. That was really fun to watch. No tears, internal tears. Just tomorrow we have the. I always say I don't have anything, and then I just start going on a rant. I forgot. Tomorrow we have the Welcome to Middle School. I don't know what you call it, meeting, conference. Orientation. So, and also to try out the different band instruments. So a lot of things, a lot of new things are going to be happening in our family. So looking forward to spring and sunshine.
I was just thinking I need to put my kids' football schedule in my calendar and sign them up for their summer activities. I don't know. Yeah, we've just been busy. Spring break, and everyone's back at school. Our fridge died, so I had to get a new one of those at home. So that was interesting. I might need that freezer that you're donating.
What was that?
So I might need the freezer that's going to be up for donation.
Oh.
No, I think, yeah, the kids are happy to be outside and warmer weather. So.
Great. I really don't have anything other than groundbreaking was fun. Exciting. It was cold. It was cold.
So cold. And it's been nice up until that point. At least it wasn't snowing on us that day. I guess we had that going for us.
And I want to wish Speech good luck. They have their sections this weekend. Spring plays coming up. And concerts. So be watching for them. Other than that,
Motion to adjourn.
we are adjourned.